For centuries, art and culture have been intrinsically linked, with art reflecting the values, beliefs, and society of the culture it is created in. But in recent years, with the rise of globalization, there has been a growing movement to separate art from culture in order to evaluate it objectively. However, there are those who argue that such separation would strip art of its meaning and context and would lead to the erasure of marginalized cultures. This documentary will explore the debate surrounding the separation of art from culture in the globalized world. So, Anas, tell us a bit about your work and what sort of perspectives you try to incorporate into it.
My work is all about films, and the perspective I like integrating into my films most is historical. It just makes me feel like connected to my past somehow, and it makes me feel like I'm looking into the lives of many people that were before me.
Do you think it's something that helps you remember your past or?
Well, it allows me an opportunity to express to my peers how beautiful the life was and the struggles the people went through before us.
It allows you to connect deeper with your.
Basically, you could say.
What are your thoughts on separating art from culture in order to evaluate it objectively?
अगर देखा जाए तो आजकल के दौर में आर्ट और आर्टिस्ट ऐसी चीज़ें बन चुके हैं जो आपस में बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरलिंक्ड है और यूनाइटेड है और इनकी सेपरेशन कोई सेंस नहीं है इनकी सेपरेशन की। लेकिन फिर हमें ये बात भी याद रखनी ज़रूरी है कि कल्चर और आर्ट एक दूसरे पे इतना ज़्यादा डिपेंडेंट है कि अगर हम लोग कल्चर और आर्ट को सेपरेट कर दें तो कल्चर की कोई वैल्यू नहीं रह जाएगी हमारे लिए। Basically, what I'm trying to say is that art is the thing that is keeping the culture alive.
Critics argue that keeping art and culture together is necessary in order to truly understand and appreciate the art being created in a globalized world. They argue that understanding the cultural context in which art is made is essential in order to fully understand the artist's message and vision. So, our first question is, what are the potential negative consequences of separating culture from art?
Well, art and culture are very important to be together because it adds to globalization and the element of globalization. So it's really, really important that culture and art are together because it increases the intrinsic value of the art piece and overall it increases its worth in the marketplace. So that's why it's really important. Otherwise, it would have a negative impact.
So, question number two is, in your opinion, how can we approach and understand art in relation to culture and globalization?
Okay, so like I said before, that globalization is a very important element because it brings all of the countries together. It helps us understand each other and it, develops international communication in a much better way. So globalization is going to bring your art form, your cultures together because once those different art forms are going to depict their culture in different areas, it's going to actually create a better understanding of the culture. It's going to create a better understanding of history, and again, it's going to relate to a better understanding and tolerance amongst countries. So I think that it's really important.
In conclusion, the question of whether to separate art from culture in a globalized world is a complex and multifaceted one. On the one hand, some argue that separating art from culture allows for a more inclusive and diverse art world, where all voices can be heard and evaluated objectively. Separately, others propose that such separation would lead to the homogenization of art and the erasure of the cultural context in which it is created, thereby diminishing its intrinsic value. Ultimately, it's a matter of perspective, and each individual must weigh in the arguments and arrive at their own conclusion. However, one thing is certain, art and culture are linked together, and any attempt to separate them must take into account the complex and nuanced relationship between them.